Hi, welcome to Peter Den's educational videos. So today what we're going to be talking about is bulk cooking. So a lot of people ask me, now that I'm cutting for my comp, what is the key to effective fat loss and how to just strip so much fat so soon? The number one key is simply preparing your meals for the day ahead. I bulk cook every single night, and I prep and I cook all my meals for the next day the night beforehand. Why? Simply because it's time efficient. It guarantees that every meal for the next day is going to be perfectly clean and healthy. You can't cheat because you know your meals are there, set, ready cooked for you to eat. You can't complain about there not being enough time to cook because it's already cooked for you. And basically the way it goes is, the night beforehand I will cook all 6 to 8 meals for the next day ahead. So you're not cooking all different meals. I have my oats for breakfast, and then meals 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 are all exactly the same thing. And every night beforehand I just happen to be cooking different things on those different days. So if you're going to be bulk cooking and bulk eating, you need to bulk buy, because it's going to be much cheaper for you. So what we do is, I went to the fish markets this morning and I bought 2 whole barramundi. So when I bought the large fish, there's a big trick. Some places, when you actually buy the fish per kilo, you'll buy the fish with the bones and the head and everything else. So you'll buy the entire fish per kilo. Then by the time they strip the bones and the head out, you're throwing away parts of the fish you bought. So you've ripped yourself off. There are some places in Sydney where you can actually get them to strip the fish, cut the bones, cut the head, fillet it for you, and then the net result you pay per kilo. So it ends up being much cheaper. So make sure that you ask them if you're going to be paying for the bones before or after, before you actually. The first thing we've done is you've got to organize your week. So you don't want to be cutting up food every single day. So when you actually buy all the fish all in one hit, so I've got 2 whole large fish that's already cut for me, I now need to cut it into my individual meal sizes. So here is 1/2 of the fish deheaded. So what I'll do is I'll take this and cut it into the multiple steaks. So we'll probably cut it a number of times. So you need a sharpened knife. I cut it once here, 2 slices. So here we'll probably get 3 meals out of it. What I suggest you do is get yourself a sharp knife and always cut it with your skin up. So just hold it nice and steady, cut it from the skin up, take it all the way through. So there will be 1 piece. Actually, I might get 4 out of it. 4. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now these 2 are pretty small, so I actually probably put those in 1 meal. So, and then I've got another 2. So there's 3 meals ready to go. Get yourself a little bucket, got a little tub, and just pop all the fish in the second slice. This will make up, so I'll cut this into 3, not 4. So therefore that will make me a good standard large 3 meals. So there goes 1 fish already. So I bought 2 large fish today. Now this will probably last me, well, there's my 6 meals. So this will last me about 2 to 3 days worth of fish. So it was 4, 3, 6. So these ones are bigger. So this was a big fish. Okay, so let's get you up to date. We've gone to the fish markets, we've bought our 2 large fish, they've scaled it, they've cleaned it, they've cut the heads off, and you've cut them into multiple steaks, that each steak will be 1 meal for you to come. Now you've got to separate it in your days, because when you bulk cook, all you want to do is go to the fridge, pull out a pack, and that's got all your meals ready to go for the day. So let's start making our packs of fish that will last each day. What I normally do is I put 4 fish per pack. because sometimes I like to leave one meal just to cook something different, such as a steak at night or a chicken breast, and my first meal of the day would be my oats with whey protein. So what I'll simply do is separate them by just getting some plastic, opening up a sheet over your chopping board, get 4 small pieces of fish that you've already cut, and just simply wrap it up into one pack. Okay, so we've bought our fish, we've cut it all up, and then we've separated our fish into packs of 4 that we have wrapped, sealed in plastic, placed in a drum. Now this goes into your freezer to last the next couple of days, depending on how much fish you bought. And all this will be my food for the next couple of days, apart from my breakfast, as well as sweet potato that will be added with it. We're going to bulk cook and actually go through a cooking process with you in a minute. And this goes in the freezer. So each night, basically, you go, pull this out, pull out one pack, and you cook all the fish in each pack. That will last you all the meals for the day ahead. Okay, so let's get into our bulk cooking. Even though I ironically have just bought fish, we're actually not going to be bulk cooking fish, we're going to be bulk cooking some chicken breast. Now, I'll normally bulk cook the night beforehand, so therefore the quantity may be a little bit more, but I've already had breakfast and I've already had meal 1. So all I'm simply going to be doing is cooking, and I've already had my snack, so I'm actually going to just be cooking another 2 chicken breasts for you. So imagine bulk cooking being exactly the same thing that I'm doing now, but just in much more quantity. You'll actually be cooking all 6 meals for the next day. So today we're going to be cooking chicken breast and sweet potato. Now, sweet potato is very, very important for your diet for tall ectomorphs such as myself. So what we need to be doing is drip feeding carbs. We can't cut carbs completely, otherwise you will simply shrink, lose all your muscle mass. So what I do is I drip feed my carbs, which means I have carbs in every meal. But to keep my body in the fat burning process is simply make sure I don't have any more than 10 grams at a time. So when I have any more than 10 grams at a time, I'll have 1 sweet potato, and that 1 sweet potato has about 40 grams of carbs in it. So that's going to make up the 4 meals that we're about to cook. The first thing you need to do is get the water to boil in the pot, because that takes some time. To cook the sweet potato takes another 20 minutes. So when you're bulk cooking, this is your first priority, not the chicken breast. That will take no more than 10 minutes. So let's put some water in the pots and get that boiling first. So now whilst the water's warming up, we've got time to start peeling the sweet potato. When you cut the peel the sweet potato, think about this. The reason why we are boiling it is simply because it keeps the sweet potato low GI, and a lot of the sugar in there will not be converted to fat. If you fry or bake your sweet potato, the 48 GI now turns to 97, which means it's a high glycemic index carbohydrate, which means all those sugars will now be into your blood really fast, your body will not know what to do with it, and the chances are you're going to be storing a lot of this as fat. So when you have a choice of how to prepare your sweet potato, that plays a very large role. Make sure you boil it. Now that we've got our sweet potato, we've got to remember that we're going to be making 4 meals out of it. So the 4 meals out of it, we're just going to simply cut it into our 4 pieces, so when we bring it out of the boiling water we can just place it into our 4 Tupperware. Now this is a good sized sweet potato, so make sure you don't get something too small. When we cut the sweet potato, the reason you want to cut into the 4 pieces is so it not only fits in the Tupperware, but simply because if you put the whole thing like this into a boiling pan, some of it might be sticking out of the water, so it may not all be soft, and also it finds it difficult to make the inside soft. So once you cut it up into 4 pieces, the inside of the sweet potato gets nice and soft as well, and that's exactly what you want. As the sweet potato is getting warmer and starting to get boiled, we can now get started on cutting up our chicken breast. One of the things I like to add onto my chicken breast is the Gourmet Garden Mediterranean seasoning. Simply because it's only got 1.1 grams of carbohydrates per serve. So it's very, very little, but this makes it taste amazing. And no additives, no sweeteners, no preservatives, no rubbish. This is the fun bit. So what I simply do is pop it open, clear the seal, wash my hands of course, put a lot of it all over your hands. So I empty about half of one of these. Rub your hands together, make a bit of a mess, and start rubbing it all over your chicken. Drown it in it. By now the sweet potato is just starting to boil, the bubbles are just starting to come up. So when this happens, what we now want to do is put the timer on. So what I do is I go over to the microwave, put the timer clock on for 20 minutes.
Told like that, you're nanny. Like I think I'm gonna be told. Let's go, you ready? Come on, up.